Hi there, this is Mark, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Enhancing the Human Experience, the podcast designed to help you get the most out of life. And in this episode, but before I get to the episode, I do want to always remind you, you can pick the cast up on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, TuneIn, and YouTube as well, which you can also catch some of the versions that I do film live, which I'm going to be doing that more and more just because I think that's something cool to do, something different. But in this episode, I'm going to talk about the foundation of success: know thyself first and know others second. And this was going to be the podcast that I started with, right? Because everything that I've ran across in my life always comes back to this foundation of know thyself. You know, this is what Socrates and Plato were talking about when they're talking about the unexamined, or you need to examine your life, and an unexamined life is not worth living, and that kind of thing. Because if we don't know ourselves, we don't know where we fit in the world, we don't know our strengths and weaknesses and how we can best serve others. And of course, that's when we're giving our unique, special gifts to the world in our unique way that we're passionate about, that we love, that we're talented in, that's when everything's going to come back to us as well. It becomes a win-win. And so I was going to do this episode at the beginning, but I felt it was too monumental, right? Because it's such a big, it's the foundation of success, as I talk about here, knowing thyself and knowing others. So I scrapped it and I pushed it on down the road. And you know what? I still will probably revisit this topic frequently because I think it's all here. I really do think everything that we need is in this notion of knowing thyself. And one of the things that I'm looking at now is, it's always a journey, right? One of the things that I'm looking at now is, like I mentioned in my first podcast, is always looking at how I can better serve you and how I can use my uniqueness, my qualities, attributes to better serve you in the way that I know how, right? Using my passion, using my interests, sharing my knowledge in the subject of personal development and the mind and manifestation to help you get what you want, right? In your business, in your life, and vice versa. You're helping me by your passions, your talents, your gifts, right? This is what I talk about when we look at the whole human race helps one another, like they buoy one another up, right? We bring the level of experience up together. And in order to do that, we each have to know ourselves. And the problem is, in our world, that's not very popular because it kind of sucks. It's very difficult. How do you put your finger on the pulse of who you are? How do you identify your strengths and weaknesses? Nobody wants to do that. And the major reason is because our senses are focused outward, right? This idea of introspection is not very popular. And so people don't do it all that often. But it's so vital to realizing success in life. So I'm going to be probably revisiting this topic down the road. But what I want to talk about today is again, how to know ourselves, right? It's a constant ongoing process. It's not like you do it and check it off the list and it's done and you never have to revisit it again. It's constant, and it always has to be at the forefront of our mind, because I look at it as evolutions. And as these evolutions come about, knowing ourselves better and better each time we evolve it becomes refined, and our life becomes refined, right? And so it becomes this spiral upward toward better and better experiences, better and better ability to serve and be benefit to other people, and really honing in on our unique contribution and how we can where we best fit in the world. Because there are many, many pitfalls and side roads that end up taking time and energy and money away from you and can actually deter you from reaching your goal, right? And so we really have to be cautious on the road, and the word that I'm thinking of is discriminate. We have to discriminate highly what roads we're going to go down, what business ventures we're going to get into. I look at entrepreneurialism and business as, what vehicle are you going to put all of your stuff in and travel down the road, right? Is it going to be a vehicle where you're teaching? Maybe you're in the financial industry. Maybe you're a doctor going to heal people. Maybe you're a lawyer. That vehicle is going to, one, serve other people, and two, it's going to give you all of your wealth and prosperity. And so we have to really discriminate highly what vehicle we put all of our stuff in to go down the road, because it takes time, energy, and money to load that vehicle up with all of our goods and services and all of our stuff that we're carrying. It takes time and money and effort to do that, and we want to make sure that that's the right vehicle for us. Now, the reality is, what usually happens is a lot of people put their stuff in one vehicle, and they get down the road a ways and they realize, I'm in the wrong vehicle. I'm in the wrong lane, right? I need to be in that vehicle way over there heading in the other direction. And so they've got to turn around, unload all of their stuff, put it in a new vehicle, and go. That will happen less and less as you know yourself, for all of us, right? I've realized this in my life. When you put all your stuff in one vehicle and start moving down the road and realize, once you're a year or so in, you realize, hey, this is not for me. I'm never going to be able to go the full distance with this, right? You want to find a vehicle that you can travel the full distance and reach the destination, which is purpose, clarity, prosperity, wealth and abundance, and happiness. And all those things come from putting your stuff in the right vehicle. So that's the importance of knowing thyself, right? The other side of the coin, as everything in life, is two sides of the coin, right? Giving and receiving, creating and destroying. The other side of the coin to knowing thyself is knowing others. Now, I believe you've got to know yourself first, where you fit in the world, and then you've got to know others. What do they need from you? What do they want from you? How can you serve them best, right? Once you get the foundation of knowing yourself down, then it becomes a lifelong practice. And again, that refinement and to higher and higher levels of clarity and precision in knowing other people so that you can serve them in the best way, in the way that's right for them, right? It's really a lifelong practice, but everything that I've seen and the experiences I've had in my own life, it always comes back to this. It always goes back to the knowing yourself and knowing other people, and then refining that process. The pitfalls are, of course, being distracted. Someone has an opportunity for you, or the hottest thing is, say, flipping houses or building houses or being a contractor, and you jump on that bandwagon thinking, that's where my wealth is, that's where I'm going to make it. And you go down that road in that vehicle and you realize, I only did this because other people were doing it and making a lot of money and finding a lot of fulfillment. Maybe it's not right for you. That's one of the pitfalls I'm talking about, not just jumping on the bandwagon and moving forward. And I'm so passionate about this topic of knowing thyself and spreading the message that the second book that I'm working on for The Magic of Being, which is the companion book, let me try to get the subtitle right. What is it? The Magic of Being, the companion book, Self-Discovery and Dream Realization Journal. So that's the book that's going to be the companion to The Magic of Being, How to Succeed and Realize Your Dream, my kids' book on the magic of being. And the whole reason I thought up that book and I wanted to conceive the second book and create it is because I want to build in the knowing thyself part into that book. And I didn't feel I could do it in the first book because I thought it would detract from the message. I liked the way that the first book just was concise and there was already enough in there. But I knew I wanted to convey this to children, which is something that I've been thinking about over the last number of years. And it's this notion of when you choose something to do that is uniquely suited to you, your success will be multiplied. And we've always got to remember that and stay in our lane, stay on your path, right? Don't veer off your path because someone else had success on another path, right? That's their path. Stay on your path. It very well may be that you should be on their path, but don't do it just because of some result or benefit that they got out of it. Do it because your heart's in it, because you're passionate about it, because you have deep knowledge in that subject. So again, knowing ourselves will help us multiply our success in life. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want. We want that fulfilling experience of being in our lane, doing what we're meant to be doing, and serving others in the best way. And it's like I said, it's an ongoing process, and it really never ends. It just becomes refined more and more. And that's how all high-level mastery and all people who practice anything at a deep level, they simply move to the next level every time, right? There becomes new doorways open up, new challenges, new opportunities to refine whatever they're doing. And the best refinement is when you refine life and the way you're living your life, right? So I really think that this notion of knowing thyself first and knowing others second is like the core foundation of success in life. And I'll probably be revisiting this down the road, and maybe when I bring some guests on to get their take on it. But I just wanted to do start this kind of dialogue in this podcast about that, and we'll probably talk about it later. So, hey, I really appreciate you tuning in. If you like the podcast, it would be awesome if you would go over to iTunes and review it. I've put some simple instructions on my website on how to do that underneath this post. And you can also, hey, I would appreciate a review from any of your favorite podcast venues, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all of those. That would be awesome. And look for more great stuff coming down the line. I'm lining up guests now that have made a big difference in my life, and I'm really excited to share their messages with you and share them with you because they're fascinating people. So that's it for the podcast. I appreciate it. Have a fantastic week. All the best. Health, wealth, and success to you. Bye-bye.